So the last step is mounting our AIS.
Hi, there we are.
We got a deck wash now. 100% salt water to wash the deck. Welcome to Sailing Lady Africa. I'm Ricky and this is my wife Simone.
After 2 years of hard work on our boat, she's finally ready to take us from South Africa across the Atlantic to the Bahamas. Be sure to join in our adventures by subscribing down below.
So the last step is mounting our AIS.
Well, it's not our last step, it's the next project.
The next project.
I wish it was the last step.
Our AIS, and then we got that backup one. Oh, that's backup, that's a VHF with AIS. But this is a transceiver, so it's sending and receiving. These are very nice units. It's got a splitter built in and everything. So, and I've already programmed it. So we're good to go.
We just gotta install it now.
Yep. Let's install it. It goes in there. And then goes through there. Better fits. So that's nicely in there. We've got to make a hole on the side for the cable to come through because we can't have our cable coming through the middle.
So we have the little, what do you call that? We had like an antenna thingy there.
Yeah,
but the bracket
GPS.
that they put up works with our
GPS signal.
GPS signal. And
Hold
yeah,
the GPS
so
aerial there. And pull all of this
we have
through.
to make a plan with the bracket that they gave us so that it could fit on that one.
So we can mount it up top there.
Instead of having to drill holes and everything in the stainless steel.
That's gonna work good. If I can just get this freaking bundle out. Sometimes I ask myself why.
We ran the cable through our davits into our aft cabin and then into our AIS behind the DC panel.
So you just run it exactly in line with the black cable. Ching! I gotcha. Just keep on feeding it. Is it good?
Yep.
Cool. So that was a mission, but now, last step.
Plug it in.
Plug in the GPS. So now we get a even more accurate GPS position getting sent into our system.
Cool. So our air is installed. Let's double check if we can see ourselves. Lady I, there we are. Woo-hoo. Cool. So our AIS is working. Our sending, receiving. Perfecto.
The project for the day is installing this little pump here. It's our new Vitus pump.
Our deck wash. Our deck wash.
Never mind that. So we got a deck wash pump. So there's the specs on the pump.
While Ricky's assembling the water pump, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, as well as give us a big thumbs up. It's a free way you can support our channel.
Water maker goes in there and we have a through hole over here. So now we just need to focus on see which way we're going to take it. If I can, try and squeeze it in there and everything, all the plumbing stays in there with the water maker. That might be a good idea. Otherwise I can use this little one to put it in there. It means I need to drill another hole through the floor. I've decided locating the pump over there and I put in a hole over there. So for the water maker, got a supply going in there. It's going to go to a filter that I'm going to leave over here. Well, the first, it's just a 5 micron filter and I'm going to hit a hole over there. What I do need to do is, see the wood exposed? I need to get it sprayed. So I got this, it's paint and primer and it's in white. It makes life really easy to protect that wood. I'll put another coat when that one dries up But now that wood is protected in there and it's going to be perfect. So supply will come in there. We're going to mount that part of the water maker in there. So there's our water pump setup. And I'm going to epoxy 2 blocks onto there and we're going to attach it onto that. So next step, what I did is I cut this piece of wood out. It's actually 2 halves that I bought the other day. And it's Maranti, so it's a hardwood. It's pretty nice wood. It's very, very nice wood. We're going to use this as the backing plate. What we're going to do is we're going to epoxy it against the hull, and then I can put screws into this and mount the pump onto that. Well, obviously I'll give it a spray and mount the pump onto that. This doesn't look professional, but it's going to get the job done. I don't have any more mixing cups anymore. I don't have any more mixing sticks. Just now a screwdriver will do it. But we need to go. Once we get a chance to get to some of the supply stores, we'll go get. This is just quick set epoxy thickened. I'm going to bond that with the planks that I've sprayed, and then I'll do the touch-up spray painting once it's set. I've epoxied that wood plank in, got the pump assembled with the tape and stuff, and now I just need to mount the pump, run positive and negative with the fuse. Well, positive is going to get a fuse, and then connect up into our saltwater line, which is already around the boat, and then maybe add a saltwater line to the toilet so that I can flush salt or fresh water. So let's get this mounted. That's so easy.
What?
Putting it in.
Oh, you're what pipe is that for the water?
This is the supply for the water from the through hole. Now we measure him out to there and we give him a good snip. These are hose cutters. Watch this. Ninja sharp off. Okay, pass me a flat screwdriver, please.
Oh, if only my husband would put a shirt where it belongs. There's no flats. There's one behind you.
So I put it where it belonged. Double clamp it. I've never had one of these come off, but this one is below the water line, so I'm not going to take any chances on this. The other ones I don't put because it's above the water line, but this one's below the water line.
So you're running cable now for the water pump?
No, because now the plan was for that water pump never to be there. So I've got cables where it was supposed to be, but I don't have here.
So now
I'll
you're
have
running
to
more.
Run some cable.
Your favorite.
My favorite job.
So what are you doing now? You're connecting it to the
Buzz bar.
The buzz bar.
And then a locking ring.
What color?
White locking ring, please.
Just connecting that one to the pump.
Yep.
And then it's done.
Give me another locking ring. Then we've got to give it the supply. How much work is it just to put in one pump?
It's like never ending. Like nothing on this boat just takes 5 minutes.
So basically what we got is the through hole here, and now we need to adapt that to fit onto that hose. We're going to go from there to this, adapt to that, put a piece of pipe in, so there. We're going to go onto that, and that's going to supply onto another one. We're going to add a T-piece in here. That's going to feed the deck wash pump, and this one over here will go to the water maker. And what this little guy is a nice little strainer like that. See how neat that strainer is? Already strains it pretty fine, so I don't have to worry about a second filter or a second strainer on the water maker, because it's going to do all the cleaning. And this is really easy to clean. It's right in the bilge, so it makes it really convenient.
Now that I found me
Okay, so that'll go in there, that'll go that way, and I'll put the T-piece and connect this hose, which is the supply, into the T-piece, which will feed the pump that's in there. And this will be the strainer, so I can easily open it, pull it out, clean the strainer in the bilge if I want to, and the bilge pump will just suck it all out. So it comes in here, and this is the first stage strainer, and then from here it tees into the pump, which is for the deck wash, saltwater deck wash, and this is the supply to the water maker. Stay tuned to next week's episode where we hopefully finish up the water maker. So we've got a deck wash now, but now this fitting, I'm going to change this fitting to the better one. Now when we're out at sea, 100% salt water to wash the deck.
It's a dark and gloomy day today. We have a cold front for the next 3 days, rain every single day. So we are running our heater, we're drinking lots of tea and coffee, and it's cold. So we're doing inside jobs today. Well, for the next 3 days. Play me a song. Does it only make a beep beep? Doesn't
So what
make
it
any
does.
others?
Nothing else. So these two are clients' alternators, and they're two different alternators. I need to check for all my points where I'm going to draw the new cables from, for my field wire, for my stator wire, and for my ground wire, so that you can have a tacho reading and everything from the alternator. So pretty much what I've done is I removed the regulator. This is the old regulator, it used to be up top here. They're going on to a lithium battery system, so what I do is I take out the old regulator and then I add a Balmar regulator. This is for a 12 volt system. I've done 24 volt systems too, but the big thing about charging lithiums from your alternator, one is temperature of the alternator, so you don't want to cook it when the voltage is really low and it's going to demand a lot at low idle speeds. And then the second one is the voltage. You want to bulk at the right voltage and you want to float at the right voltage. So that's what I'm doing now with these, is I'm removing that, putting this in as the regulator. It's a much tougher regulator, it can withstand a lot harsher conditions, and they're pretty much bulletproof. But to do that, unless you buy the Balmar alternators, which are fairly expensive but they are very good quality, you have to modify a standard alternator to accommodate, to take the new field wire and stator wires and all of that that goes onto these. You know what you're doing, it's fairly easy. If you don't, it takes quite a bit. For those of you that have seen what we used, we put Victron buck boosts in our system, and the reason for that is it's brand new motors with new alternators and all of that. We didn't want to mess around into anything with the warranties, and we do enjoy the Victron system. It's the one we went for, it's a lower output system. With these systems you can really squeeze out everything out of your alternator. With a couple of limitations that you can do, you can actually also protect the alternator while pushing maximum power. But it does mean you need to pull the alternator off, do all the modifications, attach it to the wiring that you already have from your original harness. So this is a lot more work than the standard Victron buck boost systems. And there's about one or two other brands that do a similar function, but from my experience that I've had on boats, in particular with lithium systems, and I haven't had problems with any of them, I do feel this is an awesome way to go if you really want to get maximum power out of your alternators. But yes, you do need to strip it, you need to put in the correct field wires and everything. You need to understand that if you do this wrong, you can also blow this up. A chance of wasting lots of money if you don't know what you're doing when you do this way. I've got a mate that helped me with all the other ones that I've done. Rob, he's freaking like a genius when it comes to alternator setups. He was doing it for 35 years and he really understands the system, and that's how I learned how to do these. If you really want to get an alternator and you guys are looking at doing an upgrade to alternators that are like really high power and you want to demand quite a bit out of the engine, look at brushless alternators. Those things are tough as nails, they freaking last forever, and with a regulator like this, endless. Really, they freaking super, that's the way to go. But do keep in mind, the bigger alternator you go, and if you've got a tiny little engine, you are going to bog that engine down completely. So like on a 180 amp alternator, you can be drawing 4 horses out of your engine. So if you had a 19 horsepower engine, and that would be 19 horsepower at like 2,600 RPM or whatever the case for your manufacturer is, you would only have a 14 or 13 horsepower engine. So you got to take that into consideration, and also the belts that you're putting it with. Like a single V belt, like 80 amps is really on the higher end of what you can do before you start slipping and a lot of belt wear and all of that. So if you go up from there and you upgrade to serpentine belt system, or it's like a 6PK belt, then you can start running like the big boys, like 120, 140s, 160s. Then obviously depending on what you're willing to trade off on your engine power. If you've got the finances available and you want to spend good money on a good system, the Balmar regs with Balmar alternators, these are programmable. The Balmar alternators are made specifically for these. That's a plug and play system, but you are looking at probably around, I would say around in the vicinity of $1,000 to $1,400, and that's before you've done any cable modification. Remember, when you do these mods like this and now you can pull all this power out, you need to upgrade all your cables. So you can't be running it through a 35 square millimeter cable when you want to run 150 amps continuous all the time. And the reason is, firstly, voltage drop because of the cable constraint, the resistance, heat buildups, inefficiencies of transferring power and all of that. So there are a couple of mods when you want to go really big that you need to consider. But if you're around this range, in the 70 amp range, and you put it to a Balmar reg, you can charge lithiums relatively inexpensive, boat terms, like $500. Yeah, I'm just gonna get on with these and try and finish these up today, put them back together. I'll put these nice heat shrink, so I pulled three wires out of the alternator at the end. I'll put some heat coating on them. So this is a protective heat coating, thermal coating. It's fiberglass thermal coating. I put that on all the wires, run it out, label them nicely. See, and this is a typical example of how you blow up these alternators when you do a bad a connection on them. It's like, that's a brush line and it's bridged to the base of the data, or to the rectifier in this case, but it's to the positive. Now if I had to send a field wire to there, I would have pretty much toasted it. Well, in that one it would have been a ground, so I would have toasted the alternator there. I would have blown everything. I would have caused a short circuit. It's not just simple as like a lot of people say, oh, you just take 2 wires and send it to the brushes. If you mess it up like this one, it's bridged, goodbye alternator and probably regulator, because you're going to cause a short across the system.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep
this is a cheaper brand alternator, but you can see I color coded all the points on the alternator, on the rectifier plate where the rectifier used to be. So I mean regulator, sorry, on the regulator. So the regulator used to be there. That's not the regulator from here, there's another regulator. I took it off, and there's all the markings on to indicate where it goes, and now I know which wires I need to draw out of the alternator to make this one work.
If you'd like to support our channel and join the Lady Africa family, you can do so by clicking on any of the links in our description below.